In this video, I'm going to share 10 things no one tells you to prepare before you or a loved one passes away. Now, I have some notes here that I'm going to be referring to from time to time, so please bear with me as I get through this topic. Who's this video for? This video is for you, or it's for someone who's preparing for someone who's passing away. So if you're in a situation where you're not sure whether you'll be around in the near term and you'd like some things to think about preparing for, that's what this video is about. Why am I making this video? Well, years ago, my wife and I lost her mom before I started this YouTube channel, and I was helping to execute on some of the things that she wanted as part of her wishes. And at that time, even though I didn't have a YouTube channel yet, I thought, man, this would be a really good topic because trying to figure all of that stuff out and have never done it before can be a little bit challenging. But recently, like 2 weeks ago, I had a medical situation where the left side of my body became numb for about 15 minutes. And after the diagnosis came back, we learned that I have something called a meningioma, which is a mass that's usually on the brain. So mine is on my brain inside of my skull. And eventually it's going to require surgery to remove it. So, while the success rate for these sorts of procedures is really high, it's still a surgery and there's still a risk. So over the last couple of weeks, I've been thinking a lot about what I need to do to ensure that my family has everything they need to keep things moving forward. Should something happen and I'm not able to be with them, to continue doing the things I've been doing. So that's why I'm making this video. It's kind of for them, but it's also for you, those of you who might be in a similar situation and you're trying to figure out what is it you should think about when you're making all of these big and heavy decisions. So here are the 10 things. Number 1, cell phone access. So I'm going to talk from my own perspective, but if you're doing this for someone else, just flip it a little bit and think about what you might need to do to help that person. So in my case, I want to ensure that my family, like my wife and my kids, have access to my cell phone. So I want them to know how to unlock my phone, which they know how to do. I also want them to keep the cell phone service active, because what you'll know from your own experience is that quite often when you try and log into something like your bank account, if you do banking online, is you'll get a notification on your cell phone. And if that cell phone's not active or if it's turned off, you might not be able to receive that confirmation code. And even if you know the password, you might still be locked out of the account. So one of the most important things to keep active in the event that you or someone that you're caring for, handling their business, passes away, keep that cell phone active and ensure that you know how to get into it. Passwords and accounts. So this one, since I'm planning for me, this one's relatively easy. Now, if you have the cell phone, quite often accounts are already signed in. Things like email are already open. Some of the social media accounts and other things are already open and you have access to them. But in my case, I've been using a password manager for many, many years. Something like Dashlane, 1Password, or Bitwarden. Those apps will allow you to collect passwords and save them over time. I've been doing that for years. So I've ensured that my wife and my kids know how to unlock my password manager with that master password so that they can gain access to whatever account I have in my life. So that, if they need to handle something that I haven't talked with them about, they'll at least be able to get in and figure out what it is that needs to be done. Number 3, banking and financial information. Now, this sort of goes along with the password thing. You may want to identify, you will want to identify the important accounts in your life. The banking account, like the checking account, the savings account, 401k account. Many of those accounts, you can establish a beneficiary so that if something were to happen, a designated person is able to receive that information. But if you're not even digital, which some people aren't, you can have a book. Get a book and make a list of those accounts and ensure that that the people who are going to be caring for things for you know how to access those accounts, what those account numbers might be, and so on. social media accounts. So depending on who you are, you might decide that after you pass along, you want your social media accounts to either be deleted or turned into memorialization social accounts, or maybe you want someone in your family to post on your behalf to let people know sort of what has transpired. That's something to think about. This also goes along with the password manager idea. And as I mentioned before, if you still have the phone and they're signed into their social media accounts, you may not need the password, but having the password is going to give you a little bit of extra insurance on that. Medical directives, number 5. So this is something that a lot of folks don't really think about until they're in that waiting room at the hospital when things are not going the way that they expect and they have to rush and make these really important decisions. I'd encourage you to take a few moments ahead of time and think about, what are the wishes of your person? Like for me, I know what I want to happen in the event the unexpected takes place, if I'm incapacitated in a certain way. My wife and I have talked about it. We've discussed it. And in our case, years ago, we made a plan. It's probably time for us to revisit and update that plan in the next couple of weeks. But that's something that you'll want to consider if you haven't thought about it either before or in a long, long time. Number 6, the location of critical documents. So this could be like wills, any kind of estate planning documents that you might have, deeds, all of that kind of stuff. Some of this might be digital nowadays, and some of this might be physical. Ensure that you have a list of those documents and where they are, and that you're able to access them. Number 7, subscriptions and bills. So for me, most of the bills that I get are physical bills. I prefer to have those because that doesn't require someone's needing access to my mail account. So if it's an electric bill, if it's a car insurance bill, all of those things come as paper in my life. But some of them do come digital, which goes back to the idea of having access to the phone and email. I prefer to do everything physically, as I mentioned, but sometimes you can't help it. In addition to that, I'm looking through the different subscriptions that I've got, and I'm trying to decide which of these subscriptions are just for me. They're not necessarily for the family. For example, my cell phone account is a family plan that's in my name that covers all of my family. However, there are a couple of digital subscriptions that I have for YouTube channels that I follow, Patreons that I support, that my family either knows nothing about, and should I not be around, they wouldn't care to continue paying for those things. So what I'm doing now is I'm going through that list of subscriptions and I'm proactively unsubscribing from the things. If I've paid in advance with most of these subscriptions, you'll continue to have access to the content or whatever it is you're subscribing to until your renewal date comes, and you can just turn off the auto renewal. So that's what I'm doing. And once everything sails through clearly and I'm around and that renewal date comes back again, I can resubscribe at that time. But if something were to take place and I didn't think about it, that's one less thing for my family to worry about. Number 8, digital assets. So if you're like I am, you have lots of devices in your life. You have an iPhone or an Android phone. You might have a laptop computer. You might have some external hard drives. And if you're like me, you probably have some of all of your data kind of scattered across all of these things. So this is a good time to make a list of where those digital assets are. Like the photos are here. The resumes and other documents are there. That's something to think about if you haven't done it. Where are the digital assets? Next is the contact list. Now, if you have a smartphone, you probably got most of the contacts that you need already in one place. However, many of us have more than one place where our contacts live. If you have a Gmail account, Gmail has contacts. If you have a Yahoo account, Yahoo has contacts. If you have a work account, work has contacts. So I'm a tech guy, so I kind of know where all of my contacts are, and I've decided to standardize and have them all in the primary account that I use for my online identity. However, for some of you, there might be a little bit of going through and collecting. And depending on the age of the person that you're planning for, you might have a physical book with contacts. And you may want to even go the extra step and see among the people in this list, who are the folks that I definitely definitely need to reach out to in a different way and give them certain information. You might have 100 people in the contact list, and maybe there are 5 or 6 that you're like, you know what, these people need a special message or what have you. So a contact list is something to think about. And number 10, a summary document. Now, that summary document could be summary videos, which I'm thinking about doing as well. And that's just a document that outlines the 9 things that I've talked about with you already. It talks a little bit about cell phone access. Hmm. It may be written or recorded as brief instructions to whoever it is that's continuing to handle the business, should the unfortunate happen. And I guess the bonus thing would be personal messages, letters, or personal videos. Depending on the person you're planning for, like me, I feel exactly just like I always felt, except I have this thing sort of looming in the distance. But this is a time where I could sit down, jot out a few quick notes, record a few quick videos, or even type out a letter or two to the people who matter. I'm still thinking that through and still trying to figure out, what I'll do and how I'll do it. But these are some things that I wanted to share with you uh, in the event that you're going through something similar. So that's all I've got for you today. Please let me know in the comments. Is there anything that I missed? Anything that you're thinking about that should be in this list of 10 things? And if everything works out, I'll see you in the next video.